Hello, everyone. I am a little early tonight. I thought I'd switch it up instead of being late. I thought I'd be a little early tonight. Just a minute. Okay. All right. I'm going to let a few people come in before we get started. We got about 10 minutes or five until the actual time. Let's add a few people. Okay. All right. So, again, we are on tonight. I'm early. And I'm happy to be on tonight. I welcome you all to Let's Have a Conversation podcast. And tonight I'm happy to have my guest on tonight. As you saw the flyer, if you saw the flyer, um, I'm glad to have some seasoned saints on tonight. Amen. I'm glad to have some people that's got some wisdom in relationship and in marriage to help us young folk out tonight. I don't really know how long they've been married, but I know they've been together and married for a while, a long time. So please tune in tonight. Ask some questions. Let's get some wisdom tonight on how to have a long, successful relationship. I was honored that they even, decided to come on because, a lot of times people, don't know the forum or how things will go, but they didn't hesitate. So I'm very honored and I'm very glad that they chose this platform to come on and share their love story, their testimony, their highs, their lows, because I'm sure it hasn't always been easy. Um, but they're still together and they're still loving each other. I don't know if you follow them on Facebook, but I love when they make their post on Facebook and out to eat and different things that they do together. Um, I actually ran into them one day at a First Watch, and I told Gabby, I don't know if Gabby's on, I was like, oh, there they are right there. They're always on Facebook at different spots, and we're actually in the same restaurant with them. So I was kind of excited. I kind of had a fan out moment. But like I said, I'm glad that they're on tonight. I'm here with a high expectation to get some wisdom from them, to get some more knowledge on relationships, how to go through things, and how to remain still in love. Because a lot of times, we go through things and we want to turn our backs on each other through the storms, through the heartaches, through the hard times, I'm glad to say, and I'm glad to see that they're still going strong. So I'm going to give it about maybe 3 more minutes before I bring them on. Um, Let me build this chat room up a little bit. Let's see here. It's not letting me share. Hold on. Which is weird. That's weird. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and bring them on. Um, Without further ado, we are going to bring on Elder Wilbur and Mrs. Nanette Hines. I'm excited to see what they're bringing to the table tonight. So here they are.
Hi.
Hello, hello. Let me give y'all. Let's get a little applause in here. Let me see if I could do this. I'm still learning this. This is sad. Okay, hold on. Never mind, because I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm glad that y'all are on tonight. There you go. I'm glad that y'all are on tonight. I just want to get straight into it. I'm going to let y'all. I'm going to get out the way, and I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves, however you want to do it. Um, if you want to run it, just go dive deep into your love story, how you met, however y'all want to do it, and then in between, I'll ask questions. But like I said when I talked to y'all earlier, this is all about you guys. This is y'all's platform tonight. Teach us, school us, let us know the secrets, the ins and the outs. So without further ado, the Hines.
Tell 'em how we work now.
Well, it's a long story. First time I saw Nanette was in church, and she was 5 years old. And of course, I'm a couple years older than she is. So she was the farthest thing from my mind. But I knew her family. We went to a small church, and it was years later that we actually hooked up. Uh, I saw her sitting in the audience, and I'll never forget the color dress she had on. And just like the Spirit just spoke to me and said, "She make you a good wife." And it just kind of went from there. And here we are, what, 41
41 years
years
later,
later.
on June the 2nd, 1984, and First Baptist Church will never be the same again. I remember the grooms and the bridesmaids walked in on What Is This? And Gospel Family Affair was singing that song. And boy, First Baptist was rocking and rolling. And we had like a double wedding. My sister and I both got married on the same day. Our wedding actually was supposed to start at 2 o'clock p.m. It did not start till like 4:30 p.m. because somebody wanted to run out, and they had to go and find him, and he had to
It
come
wasn't
back to
me.
it wasn't him, and had to make him come back and get married. Needless to say, that one only lasted like 6 months, and that was the wedding part. But I mean, First Baptist Church was lined from the back door all the way up to the front with the flower girl. I had like two flower girls and a ring barrier. She had the same thing. We had like 7 bridesmaids and their attendants, and that place was actually really crowded. The wedding, of course, they last like maybe 20 minutes, and they're easy to get into, but hard to get out of. And one thing Wilbur always promised me was that the D word, which is divorce, was not ever in our vocabulary. And so 41 years later, it hasn't been in our vocabulary. We've had ups and downs, of course, as normal people. The main thing that gets us through is our faith and our love for the Lord. There's been times where He's had to pray me through, and there's been times when I've had to pray Him through. So, and our church foundation is the greatest thing that you could ever have, is to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. Is one of the biggest keys to a successful marriage. Is your love for God.
Also, we had a doctor tell my wife that she could not conceive. And if she did, uh, she couldn't carry the baby full term. And 10 years in marriage, she got pregnant, and she was moping around for a long time. And I took her on vacation, because she just lost her mom in July, and I thought I'd take on vacation, kind of, make lift up spirit, and that didn't work. So I took her to Florida. I had to drive all the way down, and she came back home in the same condition. And I noticed that she was kind of gaining weight. And I looked at her and I said, "You look like you're 3 months pregnant." I said, "If not, you better lose some weight." Anyway, we went to the doctor, and the doctor confirmed that she was pregnant. And she didn't know it. I didn't know it. And we had a healthy son.
Everybody knows Jeremy Hines. Hey, Jeremy. He has been an excellent kid. He's never caused us any problems. He comes to us for prayer, to pray about a job, to pray about his finances, his next move. What should he do? Should he do this? Should he do that? And in the midst of all of that, he ended up. I have a grandson now, and his name is JC. And I tell you what, that little dude is the love of my life. He will be 2 in May. And during my cancer diagnosis, we had been married, I think it was 25 years, I think, at that time. And the doctors only gave me 6 years to live. And just like Hezekiah, I turned my face to the wall and I asked God for 15 more years of my life. I told him I wanted to see my son graduate from high school. I wanted to see him married. And I wanted to see all my grandchildren that belong to me. And God did just that. It's been 16 years now. I have my biological grandson, JC, on. I also have 3 bonus granddaughters, which are the love of my life. They are some excellent young ladies coming up and striving too. One's at Marshall University, one's at West Virginia State, and the baby is in middle school. And I tell you what, we have a love and a bond that's unbelievable. I have 2 bonus sons, and treat me like gold for Christmas. Man, I tell you what, they know that one of them knows that, well, they both know that I love the Dallas Cowboys, and I got all kinds of paraphernalia. One knows that I love electronics. So for my birthday, he blessed me with some electronics. Both of them are very good to us. Well, all 3 of them are very good to us. I've taught them about don't be giving anybody anything cheesy. If you want to do something, give like you want to be given back to you. And so they have done just that. The biggest thing that we have gone through is like sickness. I was the first one to lose a parent. I lost my mother in 1994 of June. Yeah, and then I found out I was pregnant the very next month in July. And I'm like, man. So they always say the Lord will give you something in replace of it. Well, just think from June to December. My God, I was already 3 or 4 months pregnant to have a baby in December. So so it was like bittersweet. Okay, my son, I've been blessed with a newborn son, but man, my mother doesn't get to see this. And so I grieved internally for years and for years and for years. Until finally one day I asked the Lord, I said, take this from me. I am grieving too hard. I don't appreciate Mother's Day. I didn't, I just wanted the day to be over with. And I go out and I see mothers and daughters together and I bust out crying. I go to church and they be there and I just busted out crying. Until one day I just told the Lord to remove this burden from me, and he did absolutely that. Not that I don't get sad, but I'm not in that state of, I'm just grieving. So that was the first death that we went through. Then in, I think about 96, I lost a real close uncle. And then it was, and then from there, it just kept on, catapulting after that. But you just got to learn to pray with each other, pray each other through different things, stay together no matter what, except for being abused, being hit, being beat up, adultery. I would say that would be the time that you would just pray and ask the Lord to give you peace, show you what to do, to order your steps, and things like that.
Well, you see who talks the most in a marriage, right? Um,
I'm still here, so let me tell you what's going on. So I
Okay.
don't know what I've done, but we're live on Facebook. We are live, but nobody is on the live because somehow I have restricted the live. So it's just us viewing the live. Nobody else is on, and I don't think anybody else can see it. But I'm trying to fix it. So I'm still
It's
here.
it's
So y'all,
okay.
but I'm trying to fix it. So y'all just keep talking. Y'all doing great. Um, but if you don't see me, don't think that I'm not listening to you because I'm listening. I'm
yeah,
just trying to get more people on so they
Okay.
can ask questions and see y'all too.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What we'll do is we'll pray. Lord, give Malik the wisdom and the knowledge of how to undo this so that people can come in and view this
Yes.
conversation. In Jesus' name I pray. Wisdom and knowledge come forth right now in the name of Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, let me see. Where was we at? Um, okay, and then okay, the deaths. Okay, and then you have celebratory moments. Um, I can remember Wilbur going from being an ordained deacon to a minister, and then to an elder. And at that time, I always said that I would take the lesser seat and let him go forth because he was the one that's going to be up in front of the people, praying for them. So I told him, I said, you take care of yourself, make yourself look good and presentable, and I would just be in the background. Okay, so then it got to the point where I'm like, oh, wait a minute now. Hey, I'm over here. What about me? And so then we had to like learn how to give and take, give and take. And a lot of times we were not together in church services because he was busy, doing his duties. And so a lot of times people didn't even know that we were even married. It shocked a lot of people to find out that we actually are married. Then I remember at our church that we're belong to now, this one lady said, I always call him boyfriend. That is something that I got from when I worked at a daycare center. Um, he came in one day and I said, oh, y'all, they said, Miss Nanette, who is that? I said, oh, that's my husband. Well, they looked at me with like, what in the world are you talking about? So then the Lord said, tell them that's your boyfriend. So I said, y'all, I said, this is my boyfriend. They said, Nanette, that's your boyfriend? My mama has one of those. My mama has one of those. So that's how I identify him now, is because of that situation that I just call him my boyfriend now. He's been my boyfriend now for 41 years. But that excited the children. They understood what I was saying. So I just that term of endearment. I just love it. My boyfriend.
Some people think that we were not really married, and I was talking to a coworker of mine one day, and I said, uh, she said, "Oh yeah, I know." She said, "You're not married." I said, "Yes, well." She said, "Oh no, you're not married." She said, "That's your girlfriend." I said, "No," and I had explained to her why we said, we spoke that like that. Uh, I think she finally figured it out. But I think as far as long term marriages, is that one thing you really, when you say I do, you really don't know what you're really saying until you get into it for some years. Um, I think that a lot of times you had to turn to other family members, let go of them to make sure your immediate family uh, goes forth, because a lot of times family members can hinder marriage and even cause a divorce. Uh, but I think that it's a give. I know it's a give and take. Uh, it's some people say it's 50-50. Sometimes it's got to be. Sometimes the other way around. But I think you really do have to give and take. You can't have one of us can't have a way all the time. Because I used to would go to restaurants a lot of times. It wasn't so much where I wanted to go, was whether she wanted to go, because I wanted her to be happy. In fact, one day I looked at her and said, well, can I go to a restaurant one time that I like to go to? And she understood then that, sometimes that I go just to please her, not necessarily please myself. But I think that it's a give and take situation. I found out that working together, it makes a better relationship. Um, it's not always well the inside. First, I was the one like the in part inside the house is yours. You take care of that. I take care of the outside, but that doesn't always work. So now, if the dishes need washing, I wash dishes as well. Uh, I'll mop the floor or clean the bathrooms or whatever. But it's when you say I do, better for worse, better. It's you don't know what the worst could be. You don't know what the better could be. I used to be impressed when I saw a couple of homeless. Uh, Looked like they had the only thing they had was what was on their backs, and I would wonder how in the world could she hanging there with a guy that doesn't have anything going for him. And then I realized that she really cared for him. She really loved him, regardless of what kind of situation he was in. It's not that while you're on top with them, and when they go down and you run. I think at one time it was like 50% of people that married divorced. Uh, it doesn't have to be, but I think most of the time it's people just a little too stubborn. They have their own way and they want to do things their own way and they don't want nobody to tell them what to do. Uh, I think there's times that I know there's times I go to my wife and say, "Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" It's not just decisions I make on my own because of whatever decisions I make affect us all.
Yeah, and also too, if you remember, when we were first married, we had predictions. Oh, they'll last only 6 months. Oh, she's a gold digger. Oh, she just wants you for your job. She just wants you for your money. But what they didn't know was that we started dating. He didn't let me know anything. I had no clue where he worked at, his income, his finances, his house. Only thing I did see was the vehicle that he came to pick me up in. And so you never know what's going to happen. But one thing about it, they did get this prediction wrong. It's been 41 years, not 6 months, not a year. I'll give it 5 years. It's been 41 years. So therefore, you can't pay attention to outside noise. Outside noise will ruin you. It will hinder you. So you have to cling to each other. Like it says, leave your mother and your father, and both of you two become one. Cling together, and that's basically what we have done. Um, we've been to a lot of other weddings. We've been to weddings that didn't last long. Um, like I said, you just have to put God first in your lives. When He met me, um, I already loved the Lord. I didn't have to conjure up nothing. I didn't have to get saved before I could marry Him, or whatever. I came just as innocent and pure as I possibly could. I made sure that my finances was in order. He did not have my debt to pay. I made sure that all that was cleared when I got married. But now might be a different story now. But it was. But yeah. And also, I would also tell other ladies or young ladies that if you're fortunate enough that you don't have to work, what I would tell everybody, and I've told my nieces this: if you marry somebody and you do not have to work, go out anywhere. Find you something part time. Find you something where you can stay on top of things, the new technology, how to do a bank account, how to do your finances, how to pay a house note, a car note. Stay up on top of those things so that you won't be devastated if you have to do it by yourself. If you have to do it by yourself for a while and then get married, at least you would know what you're doing or how to do it, and nobody would have to teach you. I remember we first hooked up. I didn't even know how to write a check, and he handed me the checkbook one day. He said, "Here, write this check," and I'm like, I don't know how to write this. But I tell you what, I bet he don't have to ask me now. I bet he doesn't have to ask me now how to do that because I'm well influenced on how to do that right now.
Oh, okay. So I did not get it fixed,
It's so
but
cute.
it's all right. Um,
Yeah, they can go back
because
and
when I
review.
yeah, when I post it later, I can edit all that. But I guess because where we're in the live, I can't edit the who can see it and who can't see it.
Yeah,
So when we repost it, then they'll be able to see everything in the conversation.
yeah.
So I have been listening, and I've got questions. So I want to go back to where you said, about sickness and losing, your mother as well. Um, how did you, Elder Hines? How were you there for your wife? In those times of loneliness and I'm sure other things that she was dealing with. How was you as her husband a support system for her?
Well, that's been some years ago, but I was there.
Right.
uh, I try to encourage her, pray with her, because what my main thing, I never ever liked to hear her cry. That always got to my heart worse than anything is to hear her cry, and so that really my heart was heavy with hers. I knew her mother well. She was a beautiful lady, lovely, good, uh, saved woman. Never seen anything out of her negative, no bad words, anything of that nature. But again, like I said earlier, I took her on 2 vacations in order to try to help her to get out of the sadness. But it was still year after year. She's sad, and I'm trying to figure out why. Oh, today's the day I lost my mom. And, you know, in my book, I wouldn't remember that day, but she does. Uh, but I see. I don't know. It just it's hard to tell exactly say how I was there, but I was there to support her the best I could. Uh, however she wanted to do the arrangements. And I was there to support her. Um, it was just a sad situation, really.
Because I think it's been like 30, 31 years now. And
Wow.
yeah, and I can remember her being in the ICU room, and my family nickname was Sissy. And how I know that she knew that I was pregnant, something was different with my body. Because when I walked in the ICU room, she looked at me, she said, Sissy, tell Wilbur to buy you some support bras. So I think, yeah. So I think my things was getting kind of heavy there, and I believe that she knew that I was actually pregnant. And honey,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. If she'd have been here when Jeremy was born, honey, Jeremy wouldn't have had nothing to worry about. She would have loved that little. She would have loved that little dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So also, speaking of Jeremy, you said that you couldn't have kids, correct? Am I correct about that?
That's, that's what the doctor.
Yeah, that's what the doctor said. Yeah,
So in those
yeah. If
moments,
I
like, did y'all ever feel, just giving up and just not even, how did that process go for you guys?
It was
what
surprised.
yeah what
We were
happened was
shocked.
yeah. But see, it always let me tell no. Remember, I tell you what happened. We were sitting down one night watching TV, and I heard a baby crying upstairs. And I got up and I said, I was going to get up. And I was like, ain't no baby upstairs. And I said, Wilbur, I said, did you hear that baby crying? He's like, no, I didn't hear it. It wasn't long after that we were sitting down again. He heard the baby cry,
Oh,
but
wow.
I didn't hear it. Yeah. So that right there let me know that God was up to something. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. But it
Yeah.
wasn't maybe a year later it happened that I got pregnant. And of course I had to go to specialists, but it was the best pregnancy ever. The things that they thought was going to happen to me, because I was like 34 and a half years old. The things that they thought was going to happen to me did not happen. They looked for gestational diabetes and all that. I didn't have any of that. I mean, a smooth pregnancy. The delivery took, I think maybe 12 hours, I think. But I mean, it was not bad at all. I took my medication they told me to take. I took my epidural, and I was fine. He was 5 pounds. We ended up having to wake him up, whether he was asleep or not, every 2 hours and feeding him. But it was good. And I was happy to be a parent. But then on the other side of being happy, I also grieved because my mother didn't get a chance to meet him.
Yeah. So if we can, go ahead.
No, okay. They thought the doctors had us thinking that the baby was going to be.
Have Down syndrome. Yeah. They thought that. They thought he was going to have encephalitis. Just different things that they were looking for, doing tests and stuff, but they did not find it. And they asked me, well, what are you going to do if your baby has Down syndrome? What are you going to do if he has encephalitis? I said, I'm going to keep my baby.
Yeah.
Regardless of what.
Yeah. So, I know this is probably a sensitive subject, but to touch on your mom a little bit, I know a lot of times in relationships, when you lose a loved one as close as your mom, I'm sure, how do you navigate through losing your mother, but still also being a wife? Because I know it's kind of hard to, put your feelings first, but you still also have to think, oh, well, I'm married as well. So how did you balance that? Going through your grief, going through the things that you had to go through with losing your mother, but still show up for your husband at the same time.
Mm-hmm. As far as I can remember, I don't think that I had a problem with it. If I had to grieve, that's exactly what I done, and I wipe my tears and my whatever, and I'll be right there. I still cooked dinner. I still cleaned. Bouts of depression, I think, would come and would go, but I always remained faithful. I always remained doing my duties, wifely duties, whatever. I still done them.
Yeah.
I don't think I lacked in any area of that part. It's just that my part was seeing other women out with their mothers. That affected me more than anything. Mother's Day, going to the mall, they'd be out shopping, go to Hallmark or the stores which get the cards. Ponderosa would affect me. Because she loved Ponderosa. You wanted to make my mama happy, take her to Ponderosa. And she loved it. And guess what she would do? She'd have her a little bag. And she'd be sticking the stuff in the bag to take it home.
You know what's funny? So you say that. So my great grandmother, we would go to Ponderosa every Sunday after church. And she would always have aluminum foil and paper towels. And she loved the chicken wings. So she would take it and put it in the, aluminum foil and paper towels. She put it in her purse. And we'd be like, Granny, you can't be doing that. And she was like, oh, no, I love this. They can't tell me what I do. I already paid my, So it's funny that you said that, because I know a lot of people don't even know what Ponderosa is, but that was like our place. And after they shut down, it was Ryan's. And then, from Ryan's, we went to Shoney's, but we didn't really like Shoney's like that. But it's just funny that you said that, because that was my granny every Sunday, stuffing chicken in her purse, and then she'd forget it was in her purse, So it's just sitting in there for like days. Oh gosh, that's
that's why it went out of business.
The Ponderosa went out of business because of my mom.
Oh, that is funny.
What happened though? I think Net really grieved a lot when she would go stay in her bedroom, and I'd be someplace else, and she would cry. Kind of get that out. So I didn't see a whole lot of it. I found out later that that's what she was doing, what she needed. To kind of get that on that pressure.
Yeah, because I believe crying releases a lot of things. If you can cry, and I don't mind crying. Yeah.
So you know, I have a lot of questions because you were saying some. I was listening to both of you. I don't want to say y'all are old school.
We
Yeah,
are.
we are.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to call y'all old school. So
Exactly.
so you said, you know, when your husband got ordained to be a deacon, and you told him, you know, you be in the forefront and I'll be in the background, sort of to speak. So my question is to you, you know, nowadays, we see women being in the forefront, and you know the men are now taking the back seat. um what is y'all's take on that? Because we see that a lot, and then we see a lot of times the men, you know, uh well, that's a two-part question. So that the first part, what is y'all's take on that?
Okay. Well, like you said, I was pushing him,
Yes,
but then
yes.
it got to the point where, hey, everybody only knew me as Elder Hines' wife. And I'm like, I need my own identity. So that's when I went back. I think I went back to school and I got my degree, only to find out I had to drop. Well, not really drop out, but one semester I couldn't take classes because at the same time that's when I was diagnosed with the breast cancer. So the oncologist made me drop out a semester just to find out what was going on with me. But from there, I said I need my own identity. I need to come out from among you so people can see who I am. Also, then after that, this anthology came along, and I was able to do my part there. And not only that, then I did a second one. Then I done my own journal, and I thought I'm satisfied with that because I just needed my own identity separated from being Elder Hines's wife. Not that
Yeah.
I'm above or whatever him. We still together, side by side. I'm not any better or up in the air more than he is. I'm just a normal everyday person, and that's just the way I want to be. I don't want to ever forget where I come from. I remember somebody asked me that a while back. Do you remember where you came from? I said, yes, sir. I said, from 5222 Pebbles Court, Washington Manor. That's exactly where I started out at. And then we moved to Rand after that. And then from Rand, I got married. And, so no, I will never forget where I come from.
Yeah.
That's a good question about the men. God's been dealing with me. I hadn't said anything to my wife about it, but God's been dealing with me about the men. And I started a study. I haven't finished it, but God put in my spirit, where are the men?
Yeah.
Like you said, the women, it is basically seemingly taking over now. But God said, where are the men? And I began to, too many scriptures came to my mind where it says he. And I thought about Deborah in the Bible. Well, this fellow, he failed to take the lead, and she told him that if she took the lead, that he wasn't gonna get credit for it. What she
Yeah.
had to, she actually did that. It's been a while since I've read that. I don't want to call no names right now because I don't want to make sure I get it mixed up. But that's been in my spirit the last probably 4 weeks. Where are the men? Well, how
Wow.
come the men aren't standing up and being men?
Yeah.
I know my wife. She that's how she may disagree with me for some reason or another, and she says, "Boy," I said, "Oh no."
Oh no. Oh.
I said, "How old do I have to get before I become a man?" When I was 25, is when I bought my first house, and that's the first time I heard him call me Mister. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so now they call me by my first name. Kids younger from my grandkids. I said, where has gone? When I came up, all we knew was Mister. That was the first name of everybody we knew, or Mrs. Now they're
Yes.
calling great grandpas and grandpas by their first name. And to be honest with you, the first time I had happened to me, I was really offended. You know, just how old you have to get before you be recognized as Mister. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. Um But I love talking to y'all already because y'all saying a lot of stuff that I grew up on. I wasn't allowed to address people as Wilbur or Nanette. I had to put a Mister on that and
Right.
a Miss on
Right.
that, or I got popped.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My grandmother didn't play, my great grandmother didn't play, my uncles definitely didn't play. So I see a lot of things that I was raised up on coming from y'all. But to touch back on that, first, Miss Nanette, I have to just congratulate you on because you're just popping out here. I see you everywhere. I see you, with your book. I see you. I think you was on the news recently, and just different
Yes.
things that you're doing. And then I don't know. I got a little excited when I saw you doing the taste testing for Ida, and I was like, "Look at Miss Nanette! Look at her on, doing taste testing now." I mean, you're just doing so much. But it's good to see people in the forefront doing something positive instead of
Yes.
people getting online, you know, um, being negative and just
Yes.
doing all types of crazy things, or um, women of your age, are still trying to be young, getting on
Yes.
Facebook, showing, this, that, and the third. And so it's good for me, to see such a positivity coming from not just you, but from both of y'all together as well. Like I said in the intro, I see y'all going on your date nights and y'all posting your pictures of what y'all wore to church, and just different things that y'all do. A lot of people may take that for granted, but we don't see that a lot anymore. We don't see the older generation really embracing love and what a couple should be. You only see, like I said, just the woman. And then, like the man, like you said, Elder Hines, is where's the man? Where's the man at? But it's really heartwarming, for me, and I'm 30, just to see people, a healthy couple. I'm not just going to say a couple, but a healthy, God-fearing couple in the forefront, spreading love, your beliefs, just the different things that you do. So my next question would be to you guys: what would you, if you could sit down and say, a group of 20 to 30s or 40s, whatever, if you could sit down and talk to them, what would you say, is a healthy relationship, and a God-fearing relationship? How would you explain that to them?
I would say, first of all, you want to get, you should hook up with a person of the same faith. I didn't have that was not no problem here. Only problem I had here was I had to let her know that when I'm ready to go, I want you to be ready.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you.
So
yeah,
she believed me. So I had no problem there. Most times she needs to be ready. But really, a healthy relationship is being totally honest, putting your spouse first.
yeah.
Uh, if God, well, we know God first, and then your spouse first, and then the church. There was a times we put the church first,
Yeah.
and we won't really get into that today, but it didn't pan out. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times we say putting God first is like putting church first is like putting God first, but that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
There's really a separation between church and God. Because and some people might disagree with what I'm saying or may not understand what I'm saying. But there's a spiritual and a natural thing because we never took a honeymoon. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference
Okay.
because we got married on a Saturday afternoon and was in church at night
Oh, wow.
because the church we went to expected us to be there regardless of neither one of the leadership was married. Okay, so they didn't understand what marriage was about, and they expected us to be there. So we actually missed our actual honeymoon, a traditional honeymoon, because of the way we was taught and we was brought up. But I'm saying I feel that we should put God first and our family second, and then the church. Because and then until God comes, the church as we know it, and I don't mean the people, I mean as the body of Christ. Well, until He comes, the church is going to be there. But I think that a lot of times we get too involved in the church that we don't take the time to enjoy each other. You know, like taking vacations and trips. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know I believe that you should still. When my wife and I got together, we dated. We went out to eat from place to place, and she was shy and bashful and didn't want to eat until later. She eat like crazy. In fact, her meal always costs more than mine, even today. I said, your meal costs $10 more than my meal, and I'm paying for it.
Oh, wow.
So I learned just wherever she orders, pull out the checkbook or the credit card. You know? But yeah, I think that really, I think that the main family should be. We believe in tithing and offerings, and I've seen that pay off. The reason I'm saying that there was a time the house that I owned earlier, it was getting to the point where we could not live in it, and I couldn't repair it unless we moved out of it, and we started looking for a house, and God put a friend of ours in the right place to buy a house, to look at the house we live in now. And I remember the guy that we bought the house from, he had more faith than we did. Because he came to us and he said, "What color do you want the walls? What color carpet you want on the floor?" He said, "This is your house."
Yeah.
We hadn't got any approval by the bank. In fact, the bank said your credit score wasn't up at the time. And 3 people, I believe, turned us down. At least 2 I know. And we went to one and they said, "I don't see nothing wrong with your credit score. Nothing."
Wow.
Me being a veteran, I didn't have to put down a down payment on it. All the money I came up with, what they call it, earnest money, and they give it back to me after the sale. But I remember his wife told me, she said, he gave me a price for what he wanted for the house, and I was going to pay it. No problem. But his wife looked at me, she said, "Well, I'm going to pray about it." And when she said that, I said, "Oh my God." And I ended up getting a house, I think about $13,000 cheaper than he originally told me.
Wow.
That's the faith, the God, that's the God I serve.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So when things like that happen, I had a kidney transplant. The lady called me one day. 3 days later, I had a new kidney.
Yeah, and that usually takes months.
Yes.
To be on that list. 3 days. It happened so fast, it scared us to death.
I didn't know what to say. He said, "They actually did. I want to have it now." I had maybe a few minutes to throw some clothes in the bag.
Yeah, and out the door.
Wow.
Then it was during COVID, so I couldn't go with him.
Yeah.
So the doctor said, "I will call you when the surgery's over with." And they took him at 8:45 that morning, and I heard from the doctor at 2:30. And can you imagine that? Honey, you talking about praying, you talking about listening to some music, getting positive things. And at that time, was, of course, Pastor BJ. Well, I would listen to all of his sermons. And they're very positive. And don't listen to the noise in your head and and things like that. And that's what carried me through.
Yeah.
Was just positive things.
The kidney immediately, my body immediately accepted it. Yeah. And it just started getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I haven't had any problems. I basically do what I was doing before.
Yeah,
and I had the problem.
And it's been 5 years. Well, in fact, 5 years, February the 12th. 5 years. No problems whatsoever.
Amen.
So God is good, trust God no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then another thing too, you were talking about what I found out too in life, and in fact I shared this with the first lady the other week, is I've never had a jealous spirit within me. If I wanted what you had, then go and do that. If I was going to college to get that degree to do what you do, then go and do that. Always celebrate one another. It's not
Yeah.
going to take anything. It's not going to take anything away from you being happy for somebody else. And so that's where I find myself. I don't have a jealous bone in my body. I always like to celebrate other people. The thing I found out though is that we as a people need to celebrate each other. If you climbing
Yeah.
up the ladder, let me help pull you up there with me. Let's go up this thing together, not stop you and make you fall back down to the bottom of the ladder. Let's climb the ladder together. Let's celebrate each other. Let's as a community come together and cherish each other.
Yeah.
Because it really honestly it's really not, after you think it's really all about you, it really not, because you one day are going to die. You one day you're going to leave here.
Right.
So let's all just come together
Work together.
and work together, be in unity. It's not about you and it's not about me. It's just about it's really it's about God. But I mean,
Right.
that's what it's really honestly all about. So
And unless you continue there, I think a couple, before they get together, they need to look at the family they get married into,
yeah,
because you two may be together, but the rest of the family may be hating, or they
Yeah.
may have certain. There's names that I hear, and I hear that last name, and it puts a bad taste in my mouth because I know the family history. And that can make a difference in whether a marriage is successful or not.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of times there's always noise coming in your ear. She this, he's that they have to not listen to.
yeah.
If you guys getting along, if you love each other, then all the
That's
other
it.
noise
That's what's
blot it
important.
out. Yeah.
Is you and, as you say, you and Gabby. As long as you and Gabby get along, then that's it. Because there's always gonna be somebody that doesn't like Gabby. There's always gonna be somebody that doesn't like Malik. There's always gonna be somebody that think you and Gabby shouldn't be together. But yet, who they with, they're not even getting along with their own self. But they're gonna tell you, give you advice about you and Gabby. No, boo boo. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna give you advice. Yeah, and they ain't even getting along with what they got.
Or they married the wrong person.
Yeah, or they mad and angry at their own self with who they with. And
Yeah.
then they go try to give you advice. You can't listen to that noise. Mm-mm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you something else I found out. You cannot change people. What you see is what you get.
And when they show you who they are, believe them, because that's who they are for real.
So you better marry someone that has values from the beginning, and not try to get, them to change their values.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, because they're not gonna change once you marry them. What you have when you're dating is what you're gonna have when you say I do. It's not gonna change.
Y'all giving some good nuggets. Some real good nuggets. I wish the comment section was open.
Okay.
So what is something that you two love about one another?
Her eyes.
Oh, he went straight forward.
Oh, we have eyes for you.
She's witty.
Yeah.
I am silly Willie, and I always have been, and always will be, as long as I can laugh. I'm 66 years old, and I will continue to laugh, because there have been plenty of times I've cried. There's been plenty of times to be sad, but every time God gives me a triumph, why not be happy?
Yeah.
Because it could be the other way around. I should be in my grave, but I'm not.
But she's got a good heart.
Yeah, and plus yeah,
That's what's very important. So
yeah.
that real good heart.
And I found out that everybody don't love me. I found that out too, and I found out the hard way. I found out. I remember, I think it was in 2024, the end of 2024. I said, God, why does this keep on happening? Why does this? Why is it like this? What? You know, he told me. He said, change your company.
Mm.
And 2025 was totally different than anything I've ever experienced. 2026, I'm going around about the same way. And you'll find your circle. You'll find people that you click with. If you don't click with them, quit trying to click with them because you're not going to click with them. That's what I found out too. Quit running after people that's not running after you. If they're not giving you the same energy, then don't you give them the same energy because you're
Yeah.
not going to change them. You're not going to change them. You can't make what I found. You can't make anybody like you. You can't make anybody love you. You can't do it.
And see,
Our birthdays. I'm sorry.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Our birthdays in the same month, just days from apart. But yet we're still that much different. You would think that we'd be that much alike. I think we're more alike than different, but yet her taste is different from mine. Her
Yeah.
likes are different from mine. And you think a person that you wouldn't get along at all that way. But it's just, to me, it's like a magnet. If you try to put two norths together, they're going to, well, if you put a north and south together, they'll come together.
Like
Yeah.
he likes Western. He likes Westerns. Man.
And she like cooking.
And I like the cooking channels, HGTV, Bobby Flay, yeah, sweepstakes, marketplace sleep. Yeah, that's me. And Wednesday night, the Chicago Med, Chicago PD, and Chicago Fire. That's me. I mean, but yeah, and he would keep it on the Westerns 24/7.
Yeah.
Oh, I like mysteries and cops.
Yeah, he likes that cop stuff. Yeah.
She said that cop stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I can attest to a lot that y'all are saying because me and Gabby are totally different too. And where I'm older, I'm 30, she's 25. We have a totally different. Our likes are very different, very different. She's more so in like the YouTube stuff and the live streaming, and that's not me. I love a good movie, a good comedy, a little action, but she will sit and watch YouTube all day long, watch these streamers, and I just can't get into it. I just can't. But and to what you said, Miss Nanette, about your circle. I'm a person, I never meet a stranger. But if I don't click with that person like right off, I know they're not for me. And that's when the discernment kicks in as well, because my discernment with people is very strong. And I could tell, when something's a little off, then I won't deal with them. But
Good.
yeah, but Gabby, she's more so of the quiet person between me and her. Like I talk to everybody. I can walk to a place and I can talk to the person at the front desk, and we be best of buds at the end of the night. But that's just, I've always been like that. But her, it'll take her a while to get warmed up to you. She'll talk to you, but she gonna sit back for a little bit. Try to feel you out a little bit, and then she'll warm up. But me, I'm right on, and I'll talk to you. But if something's off, I ain't gonna talk to you no more.
Good. That's
I know
good.
when to cut it off.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I just feel like I'm just right at home with you two. Let's see. So what is one of the biggest storms that y'all have faced, as a couple, and how did y'all pull through it together?
We've had so many storms.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we had, I guess, one of the biggest ones we've had is when she was diagnosed with cancer. My brother passed, I think, the same day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I forgot about that. Yes, on the same day.
And then I was diagnosed with cancer shortly after that, wasn't
see, I was 2010.
Must have been about 14 years, yeah.
12.
Yeah, about
Yours
the
was
same time.
12, 2012? 2012, I think it was. I mean, see, we've been through so much. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So the key to all of it is prayer, being in a good church where people, where the elders and the pastor can lay hands on you
Love you.
and love you through it. Man, they were so good to us. When he had was it the kidney transplant? Yeah, the kidney transplant. Honey, you thought somebody died up in this house. We had so much food the whole first week. Going to the second week, right? Tell them to stop. It's too much. It's too much. Somebody else needs help. Somebody give it. Start helping somebody else. Because I mean, it's just the way it was. We received flowers in the hospital, started busting out crying because we wasn't used to that. Um, yeah, they really took good care of us. Yeah, we do the kidney transplant when we had when I was diagnosed with cancer. Of course, we were somewhere else, and it was totally different. We just really relied on each other. I had a few close friends at that time. One was a nurse, so she understood what I was going through. She knew what to look for. But God just had His hand on me, and He still has His hand on me, which I'm so grateful for. But they look at me and they say, if you didn't know your story or know what you go through, you don't look like what you've been through.
Yeah.
You see now that I was going like every Tuesday for 13 years.
Wow.
And then he was so pleased with my results. He said, I'm gonna move you to every 3 weeks. So every 3 weeks I go now. So that gives me room to go on vacations or do something different. Or even if at that time it falls on that week, I can ask him, can I be excused? Because see, them, you don't do what you want to do. You do what
Yeah.
they tell you to do, or they can release you and tell them they can't treat you because you don't listen.
Yeah.
They can't drop you. They can't drop you as a patient. Um, so yeah, I think that was some of our
That's one of the.
yeah. All of those combined together was bad storms. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can tell you one thing, Miss Nanette. And I have seen, like, I've never really been close with you, but I've seen you like on videos of church and stuff like that. And one thing about you, ain't never lost your praise. Because I'm telling you, I in videos, I would see you, you running across that screen, and then and it just, I love it. I love it. Because
Yeah.
I know a lot of times, Pastor Creasy, he would post videos and stuff at at your old church that y'all would that you attended, and then
Yeah.
I'd see you when the spirit would get high, then I see you take off across that screen and then go the other way. So I've always seen it.
Yeah.
You have never lost your praise, no matter what you have been through. You have
Yes. Amen.
definitely been a praiser, and that's an encouragement. Because
Amen.
I don't know all of your testimony, but I mean I do know the cancer part.
Yeah.
And just seeing you just praise God through everything is very uplifting. I'm sure not just for me, but just for others as well.
Yes.
When just to see you take off running, and some people may laugh at it, but they don't know. They
They
don't know
know
Yeah.
the whole
No.
story.
what
Yeah.
you've been
Yeah.
through.
No.
So of
Not.
course, people may laugh because, oh, they're gonna miss the net taking off again, but you can run. You still have the activity of your limbs. So there's
Yes.
always a
Yes.
story behind somebody's praise. So I had to
Yes.
just throw that out there because I just love it
Yeah.
every time I see it. When I see
Praise
you at
God.
the church that you're on at now, and I'll see you take off running sometimes. I just love it. People's praise.
Yes.
I pay
Amen.
attention to a lot of people's praise.
I know that's right.
And a lot of people think it's funny, but it is, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
You do
Yeah.
not know people's stories and where they
Amen.
come from, where they have accomplished. And like I said, I see you everywhere. And I love how your husband is just right there with you,
Oh
through
yeah.
every milestone. A lot of times people just think, oh, well, she's just doing it alone. He may not be there in the camera with you, but I know he's there.
Yeah.
I
Oh
know he's
yeah.
there. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
that's incredible, because now we're in a day and in an age where you see it's just the woman by herself, or
Yeah.
it's the
Hmm.
man has become jealous of the wife because she's in the forefront. And a lot of times the woman gets jealous of the man because he's in the forefront. So it's just a weird world that we're living in now. But with you two, I could definitely say I could see the encouragement. I could see, him cheering you on. I see you cheering him on. And y'all are a blessing, to me, and just being 30, it gives me hope,
Yeah.
it gives me hope that it can happen. There can be a successful marriage. So I'm very just excited that you all decided to come on. We've been on for an hour. I try to keep it at an hour, but
Well, I tell you what, let me tell you this. I've always had a special love for you because you always reminded me of Jeremy, especially when you were younger. I guess it was what, middle school? I think it was a
yeah,
grade school, middle school. And I see you and I had to take a second glance because I thought it was Jeremy. Or I mean, yeah, y'all look exactly alike when y'all were younger. So I've always had a special love for you anyway. I wanted you to
amen.
know that. Yeah,
Well,
I
I
wanted you to
appreciate
know
that.
that.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that for sure. And I thank you, just for the love that you show on my post. If don't nobody else like or comment, I know Nanette will. I know you will. I always look for your comment. I'm like, I know she don't like this post. Even if it's just one little comment, and that encourages me. That
Yeah.
really does, because sometimes people think, well, is this hitting on anything? Is anybody getting anything from this? But I always see you pop up, and I'm just like, okay, I must be doing something right
This
because
is
he's
something right,
on there,
right, right,
So
right.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's been an hour, but I've got so many more questions. But I don't want to hold y'all too long. And but if y'all want to say anything else, I don't care what it is. If you want to give us just a piece of advice or anything, I'm just going to let y'all have the floor and just have y'all's final words.
Okay. I was going to say, you have to stand for something because if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Have some integrity and tenacity about your own self, your own character. Your words speak volume about yourself. If you tell
Yeah.
somebody that you're going to do something, do it. If you can't do it, tell them, hey, I know I promised you such and such and such and such, but I can't do it at this time. Your word is your bond. Your word is who you are, who people believe in. Oh, he's just saying that. Don't pay no attention to him because he says that all the time. And you want people to believe in you and who you are and who you stand for. That's what I have to say.
I say love God because we're all going to spend eternity somewhere. Um, and I think that's the main thing we need to concentrate on, that we either going to spend it in heaven or hell. And the only person that we really have to uh, hear say "well done," and that's God. And that's the thing we need to think about, that we're not going to always be here on this earth. So it's nice to treat people the way you want to be treated. Uh, let your word be your bond. Uh, and just be loving. Just be loving. Don't join that hate crowd. uh, just be nice. Be loving. Be godly. What would God do? How would He react?
Mic was off. So again, I really do honor you two. I thank you for coming on tonight. I wish we had more time. I really do. Um, who knows? I may ask y'all to come back on again. You just never know. But I appreciate everything that y'all have said to us tonight. Every nugget, your story, your testimonies, your encouragement, the laughter you guys brought tonight. I loved it all, and I have a few nuggets that I'm going to take and hide in my heart tonight for sure. Um, And I thank you all again.
Thank you.
I pray blessings upon both of you. Um, prayers of healing, prosperity, longer years to come, and more trips to take. Just all the good things going y'all's way. And I hope you all have a wonderful night. And I am going to fix it as soon as we get off of this so everybody can watch it and comment and share. So I'll be doing all that as soon as we get off of this live. I'm going to share it to y'all's page and all that good stuff. So y'all have a good night.
Okay, you too. And thank you.
And I will see you guys around, and I love you guys.
Okay, love you too, sweetie.
God bless you.
God bless y'all. Okay, we'll move down. Okay.